Welcome back. It's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. And today, from McFarlane Toys in their DC Multiverse line, we are featuring the McFarlane Collector Edition Green Lantern Alan Scott. Okay, so we have the much beloved Green Lantern Alan Scott figure here. This is something I've been jonesing for such a long time. It was great that we got a Jay Garrick figure some months ago, and for me that was kind of a bright spot because it got me thinking, okay, we got Jay Garrick, I'm hoping down the road we get Alan Scott, which we have right here, and I have a feeling it's just a matter of time before we could fill out a nice shelf worth of Justice Society of America characters. I've always been a fan of Alan Scott. Alright, so if my memory serves me right, even though he's a Green Lantern, he's not officially like a Green Lantern Corps member. I believe his powers are derived differently than, than like Hal Jordan and crew. Him and guys like John Stewart and Guy Gardner and Kyle Rayner, they derive their powers differently than Alan Scott. I think whereas they are kind of like dependent on like the central power battery on the planet Oa, I believe his power base might be more so on the mystical or magical side. I might be wrong. It's been forever since I've brushed up on this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm stoked to get this character. On the back, we have a beautiful illustration done by world-renowned comic book artist Alex Ross. If you're a comic book fan, you're very familiar with probably some of his work, like Kingdom Come, Marvels, the oversized Justice League book, or even his oversized books highlighting the Trinity, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. He's still going on strong today. I went to an art exhibit earlier this year, and it's cool. I love Alex Ross's artwork. It's amazing. Definitely the Norman Rockwell of the comic book industry. And this rendition of Green Lantern Alan Scott is just pretty spot on. It really captures the era of this superhero. And this is a really beautiful piece. Now, onward to the action figure. So I do have Alan Scott figure in my collection. It's an older Mattel DC Classics figure. There was a couple of, I think, older DC Direct and DC Collectible figures of Alan Scott from back in the day, and there's one in particular that I really wanted, but I just never pulled the trigger on it. But for me, it's nice that McFarlane's kind of honoring some of these more classic themed superheroes. It's nice to get action figures of some of the modern takes on characters, like maybe the cinema versions of Batman and the Dark Knight, or giving us the video game interpretations of some characters from Injustice or Arkham. But this is nice. This is kind of my bread and butter from back in the day, the older style of comic book superheroes. Display base, and then we also get this really nice it's almost all right. So with the collector edition, it feels like it's a notch higher in terms of the presentation compared to the other boxes. This one has some gold foil on the McFarlane logo, and also there's some silver trim around here. So it kind of indicates you're getting a slightly more premium product, even though the action figure quality is, the same as usual. You do get the trading card, but it looks like on this pretty neat DC display base. You get a Green Lantern effect. Of course, what's a Green Lantern without his Green Lantern, which is right there. So many years ago, there was a run of Justice Society comic books that I was really into. The lineup, I think, had Magog, which is one of my favorite DC characters. Magog was kind of like, I don't want to say he's like the DC equivalent of Cable, but I think more so the social commentary on what Cable represented during the 90s. If you remember Magog, he was one of the anti-heroes from Kingdom Come. And he, at some point in time, much later, he joined the JSA, and I don't know, I thought it was pretty neat. The JSA has some pretty cool members like Mr. Terrific, Jay Garrick, and of course this Green Lantern in particular. This does not come out. Alright, so we have Alan Scott here. There was a period of time in the comic books. It was during one of DC's like reboots. I'm not sure if it was New 52 or if it was Rebirth, but they neglected to bring back the Justice Society. And I remember the fans were kind of upset that the JSA was kind of absent. And you know, with them being absent, that meant certain characters like this guy here, you know, they weren't on the center stage anymore. You know, they were kind of like not like whisked away into obscurity, but I think left a lot of people, you know, scratching their heads on, you know, when these characters would come back, and eventually they did. You know, this is a very popular character, and this, man, I'm looking at this. It's a really nice figure. A lot of care and attention, a lot of care, detail, and attention went into this. The emblem on his chest is really well done. It's really nice. The Green Lantern here, it's a very clean print. The head sculpt is nice. Yeah, it's a really nice head right here. The hair is sculpted nicely. I love the cape. It's kind of reminiscent of like Spawn, especially like classic Spawn, where he has the medallions over his chest with the chain, hooking them together. And then he, you know, classic Spawn even has the giant lapels where it kind of like flails out like this. It's a nice shade of red, although it's coming off really strong on my camera. So the red that you're seeing right now is very different than the red that you'll see if you actually handle the figure. Let me try to adjust the white balance on here so maybe we could get a better idea of what the quality of red looks like in person. Yeah, so what you're seeing right now is a much better representation of the red in real life. You know, when I pull this away, it becomes very oversaturated, but this is what it looks like up close. It's a nice shade. There's nice contrast with the green. One thing that kind of throws me off just a little bit, we've seen this before in other McFarlane figures, is that the briefs here don't necessarily match the leggings. So there's a little bit of disconnect here. I think it's mostly because of the material. Like, this material is different than this. But otherwise, it's a beautiful looking figure. You know, there's some wrinkles and folds in his uniform. So it does not look like it's just like, you know, a bare body painted red. It actually has the semblance of cloth and material. And let's not forget his power ring. It's right there. Great looking head. This is a nice head. Like, in some ways I kind of feel like if you wanted to, you could probably swap this onto another Green Lantern figure, and then maybe make a custom, you know, Lantern Corps member, like maybe, like Ion, or what's the other one that escapes my mind right now? If you're a Green Lantern fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. The cape's nice. It's a nice shade of purple. It's coming off a little bit more blue on my camera than if you saw it in real life. If you saw it in real life, it's a lot more purple than it is blue. Like I'm looking right now, my camera just looks a little bit more blue. Clean looking belt, nice detail on the boots. It's kind of cool too because it's a nice sculpt. It's not like they just painted on the design. The articulation is as follows. His head has the usual posability. Look down about there. Peek upward. Let's see if we can get him in a flying pose. You know, caped characters always like to fly. And you could arch his back far enough. You could tip his ankles back. Leg articulation, as usual with like a lot of McFarlane figures, there's always the difficulty of trying to kick their legs upward because it kind of like is hindered by the briefs up there. Nice movement, go out full splits. As you can see, exposed, double pinned knees. It's kind of a mixed bag with McFarlane figures because some figures they've, you know, had hidden pins, others like this one does not. Double jointed elbows, articulated wrists, and he does have that. Does he have a butterfly joint? Oh yeah, he does have that ball socketed butterfly joint right there. Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, God, I think my first impression was to give this a 10. Probably. I don't think we'll get another Alan Scott figure in the McFarlane line, unless they do some sort of weird, wacky repaint. And for me, I think this kind of really fits the bill. It's, you know, everything I wanted in an Alan Scott figure. Like I said, you know, you pose this next to Jay Garrick, and then you're on your way to building up a Justice Society of America lineup of action figures. It's really cool. I love the fact that McFarlane is digging deeper into the DC roster of characters. You know, I know we still get a lot of Batmans and Supermans, but you know those are always big sellers. You know, sometimes it's the more obscure characters or off the radar characters that don't sell very well. But you know, when they produce something like this, you know, me being a longtime comic book fan is much appreciated. You know, well worth the purchase, well worth the wait. All right, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.